Okay, recording is in progress. Well, today on the Golden Exposure podcast, where the weaving of philosophical minds, hearts, and spirits come together in the grander poetry of life, we have Tiffani, also known as Puma. I have known her as Puma. Honestly, I didn't even know your name was Tiffani for the longest time. And but
Sure.
Tiffani, Puma, you are here. Thank you so much for being here. Maybe give us a little rundown of who you are and what you do in the world.
Yeah, thank you for having me. First of all, Jade, I'm really honored to be here. And um, I do many things. I have many names, obviously, and really, I'm a healer, I'm a dancer, I'm an artist, and a lot of my work is focusing on helping people learn how to be seen and to like
Mm,
really speak their truth, but also helping them see themselves because it can be scary.
mm,
Um, and really at the heart of it, I'm a coach, I'm a counselor, I have a master's in counseling, I've been working in coaching and healing arts for over 20 years. I also facilitate and lead ecstatic and sacred healing dance spaces. And at the heart of all that is to help the folks I'm working with to set themselves free of
mm,
stories, traumas, limiting beliefs, whatever it is that's keeping them small or stuck or not living in their most vibrant space,
mm.
one step at a time.
Yeah, yeah. How do you approach that? I know recently you and I had a session together and it was so beautiful. And it was through this special that you were running called Unfuck Your Frequency, which I love. Love that so much. So what does that mean? What does unfuck your frequency? How does that set people free?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Unfuck your frequency. That came to me there's just so much swirling around in the world right now. Everything is frequency, everything is energy, from what we engage with to how we speak to what we wear to what we put in our bodies to what we listen to. Like everything is energy and frequency. And with unfuck your frequency, because I was finding myself in a place where I was feeling pretty fucked, I gotta say. Big
Yeah.
life shifts, big things, and I was facing some big challenges where I was just like, what is this? And as someone, I've been a healer for many years, and I was like, okay, I know this isn't all me. There's what's coming through. What is this? And was as I work through my processes, usually I get taken through a process before I offer it to anyone else.
Mhm.
And I was like, the world feels really fucked. And we can either tell the story that it is, or we can take our power back and say,
Mm.
just because this is what's happening out here doesn't mean that has to be what's happening in here.
Mhm.
And just because something has been that way historically, or that's the story we've been telling for eons, doesn't mean it has to continue to be that way.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Whether that's
every
out in the world or our own
yep.
personal history.
Every
So,
moment is an opportunity to change our lives, to change the world, and yeah, like you said, one step at a time.
yeah. Yeah. And so, really, I mean, I've been doing coaching, like even high level executive leadership coaching. I have a lot of experience there, but I also, for the last several years, have offered some energy clearing and somatic release through a particular process. And so, even just changing, like, unfuck your frequency. Again, I'm here to help folks set themselves free. So, it's really showing
Mm-hmm.
them a process, guiding them through creating space. We all still need our practitioners. We don't have to do everything by ourselves, nor are we meant
Yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but to create a space where I can be a guide and help folks really kind of tune in. Because, if we're starting with a coaching session or even talk therapy, we're often in our heads.
Mm.
And where these
Mm-hmm.
unfuck your frequency sessions are really getting us more dropped in into the body, into our frequency, because that's the core. Like we're all just vibrating at a certain level. And sometimes we take things on, we just are in a place where like, wow, things got jammed up a little bit. And so
Right.
yeah, it's really just like energetic hygiene and deep cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Yeah,
you deep
absolutely.
clean your house a couple times a year. I don't recommend waiting for just a couple times a year
Yeah.
because there's a lot out there and we just like fun. So, you
Hmm.
know, it's just like maintenance and um being able to go a little deeper than you could on your own.
Right, right. Because it's like we're here on this planet. We might as well explore the depths, with ourselves and with each other. Can you
Yeah.
hear me all right? There's like something happening in the neighborhood that
Yeah,
you can't see it because there's
there's
a
a
tree,
little
but
buzzy sound, but like you're
oh,
good.
good, good
Yeah.
deal. Okay, awesome. It's like this big truck on the other side of my fence.
Oh, no, it's not coming through
Oh,
hardly.
fantastic. Okay, great. Um, yes, yeah. The hygiene. I think oftentimes we can go until we are feeling fucked, until we are like completely falling off the edge, and we're like, okay, now I need help, instead of resourcing ourselves along the way. And it's like even as practitioners, sometimes we do this, even though we know this, even though we see this all the time. But yeah, maintenance. It's like getting your oil changed on your car.
Right. Well, and it's that maintenance, and it's even more because maintenance feels like, I mean, the
Yeah.
frequency of the word matrix maintenance. I'm like, ugh. But it's
Right,
really
right.
deep self-care.
Yeah, yeah, self-love. Yeah,
Yeah.
really, that's true. Yeah, because maintenance is more like kind of surface, like, okay, check, 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 sort of
Right. You're
thing,
just like, okay, I'm just
versus,
going, showing up for my annual appointment, or whatever, however you want to think about it.
yeah,
But
because
it
it's like
really,
if you feel that deep love and devotion to yourself, then how do you move? And it's like the more you move in that direction, the more you move into devotion to the self and deep love, which then pours out into the world.
yeah. It's getting a little hard to hear you, not because there's something else going on, but just like maybe, I don't know, distance to a microphone, but you're just really
My
quiet.
microphone's on here, I think. Is that louder?
Maybe you're speaking louder. I don't know. That
Let's see.
feels
Okay, is
better.
this the same?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think you just, yeah, okay.
Okay, maybe I'll talk louder.
It might
It's
be.
it's
Like,
probably the truck. I'm like, who?
it
What are
might
they?
be interrupting.
What are they doing? They're like right there. That is so funny. Let's talk about um, dance. I'd love to hear about your role in dance. So you and I met through the ecstatic dance community, and that's where I see you. I don't know if I see you anywhere else in the world. I think it's always there, you know. And yeah, and it's just you hold such a beautiful container, such a beautiful space. And I know you have an apprenticeship sort of opportunity coming up to for other people to learn from you how to hold this space. And I'm just wondering why this is so important, dance and container holding.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's I love you're like, I just saw you. I was like, I was there all the time. Bend
Yeah.
ecstatic dance. I until I retired from Bend ecstatic dance and moved to LA. Yeah, I felt like I did live there. Yeah, dance as a spiritual practice is something that I really love talking about. Um, Something I haven't shared a whole lot with a lot of folks is before I started going to Ben Ecstatic Dance, discovered ecstatic dance, and got really involved, I had a spiritual practice around dance by myself. And just like I would use dance as a literal way to move energy. Where I'd, maybe sit in a little meditation or a little ritual or some intention setting, and then I would dance for a song or two or 11 minutes or whatever I was feeling. Um, and coming back to like everything is frequency, especially dance and movement, and like literally through movement and dance. And I use those interchangeably because I know dance can have some baggage to it for a lot of folks. We're like, I'm not a dancer. I don't know how. I'm like, I'm not teaching steps or choreography. That's not part of this. It's that innate feeling of just like, what am I inspired to do in this moment? Um,
I think that's the part that is the scariest for people sometimes is not having a next step. Or like if I don't know the next step, how will I see the next step?
Mm. Yeah, and it is edgy.
Yeah.
It is edgy because we humans really love to know things.
Hmm.
And because it gives us security or a sense of safety or like we know what's about to happen. But the truth is, even when we're experts or like very practiced or showing up to a same job every day, we never really actually know what's
Right.
about to
Yeah.
happen.
I think about that all the time. I'm like, oh yeah, I could plan out everything. I could be, I could be that person. But even then, it's like you don't know. Even
Yeah. And so, and dance is such a beautiful metaphor. It's like, what happens if we just let go of all these preconceived thoughts, stories, notions, and just allowed ourselves to move our bodies. And part of it is, for me, when I'm leading dance, I've got a set list. I've got this very specially curated journey that I've channeled and really sat with. And even then, I can't predict what that's going to inspire for anybody,
then,
myself
right?
included. I put these
Yeah.
songs together and I go dance. I'm like, I didn't know that was about to happen.
I love that.
And again, back to the frequency, because we can be like, "Ooh, I don't know what's about to happen," scared, contracted, booked, or we can be like, "Ooh, I don't know what's about to happen," and allow ourselves to be surprised and delighted, even when it's hard, even when it's like, "Wow, I didn't know that was about to happen." But sometimes we have to go through some messy, sticky stuff to learn something.
Yeah.
Uh, and so, even on a dance floor, I don't shy away from challenging music to, it's not just an easy like four on the floor bop all night long. It's just how can we learn to be uncomfortable? And I think part of what happens, or part of the gift I bring or magic I bring is creating really safe feeling spaces so that people feel safe enough to be uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. The layered effect. So it's like, okay, you're in this. It reminds me of like a baby eagle or something. It's like they have this nest that they have known their entire lives. So they're safe in that nest. And one day, eventually, they feel safe enough in that nest that they're ready to begin flapping their wings. And they don't jump off right away. They just kind of stand on the edge and flap their wings, and then they go back into their safety. And then one day they soar, one day they learn to fly. That's what's coming to mind with that
I love that. Yeah, and it's we humans are the same. We love our comfort
one. Mm-hmm.
and we love
Yeah,
our safety because it makes us feel secure. But if we're attaching that security to anything outside of ourselves, that can change.
yeah, yeah.
And so really dance and even the healing work I do is really helping folks connect to themselves, to their bodies, to their own intuition, their own inner wisdom, so that they can find security in themselves and not rely or be attached to some other idea, some other figure. I mean, even to me,
Mm-hmm.
part of my
Yeah.
practice is trust your intuition. Everything I say is an invitation. I sometimes get things wrong. And I also am a big believer in we get the guidance we need to get us into where we need to be, even
Exactly.
if we don't think it, even if we thought the guidance was something else.
Right. Totally. Totally. Yeah. And it's like always in retrospect. So it's like, what if we shift that to the now, and we become aware of that bit by bit. Yeah.
When it's shifting out of codependence, right? Because we
Yeah,
see that so
absolutely.
much in our culture and it's part of what we're all evolving forward. And, if you're into like moving from the Piscean age to the Aquarius age, like it's all about interdependence. And, it's our wounded child that's looking for like mommy or daddy to save us and keep us safe. So it's normal that we like would attach or like look to leaders or look to experts or look to whoever we've been told is the authority. But that doesn't get us free.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, real authorship is kind of the opposite of authority. Authorship of our own lives and sovereignty in our own lives is the opposite of this authority seeking. Yeah, I had a great experience with this that I feel would be beneficial to share. Um, so I was working with a coach about a year and a half ago, a business coach, and I had this budding opportunity to begin my studies in craniosacral therapy, which has been something that has been in my realm for a long time, for about a decade, a little over a decade now. And I've been practicing or studying the healing arts since probably middle school or so. And so, this has been something that's been up and coming in my life. And the business coach is like, I really feel like you should add one more thing to your plate. I really think you should consider, they're like, obviously you can do whatever you want, but you should consider focusing on what you already have. Can you hear me?
There's a couple places where you just cut right out, and I was like, what did you?
It's crazy. Okay, I'm glad you can't hear the truck because it is so loud. I can't even.
Do you want to move inside, or is there some place?
Yeah, I might. Let's see.
Let's just take a pause. Can we pause the recording? Yeah. Or I guess you don't.
Wow. Okay. We had to move locations because they are filling up the natural gas or something outside. I'm like, out of all the times right now. So Puma, would you consider that a frequency fucked? Is that a fucked frequency? Like what do I make of this?
Yeah, I love that. I was like, I don't know if it's fucked so much as like, what was it trying to get you to do?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe, right. See, that is beautiful. And maybe it was to plug my computer in because the last time I did a Zoom call, my computer died like right at the end or like went black. I don't know. I didn't think it was going to die, but it was like pretty low percentage. And it saved the Zoom call with Samantha, but yeah, it was a little scary. So
Yeah,
maybe
or
my computer was going to overheat or needed to plug it in. Yeah.
or who knows? I mean, it could be, were you feeling attached to having to be outside versus like, was there a reason you didn't
Mm.
want to come inside even though you knew that was happening? Like, and we do that all the time. We're like, no, I have to do it this way.
Yeah.
Like,
I did.
we're trying to get you
Yeah.
to do it differently. I mean, me too.
Yeah.
We get really kind
Attached.
of
Yeah.
attached to something, and no judgment on that. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
what we do, and it's like, okay, how much longer? This is such an example of like how much longer I'm going to let myself be interrupted before I just change.
Mm. Yeah. How much longer am I going to allow myself to be interrupted before I just change where I'm at? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which could be, in our society, there's so many distractions all the time, and if we aren't focused,
Mm-hmm.
we can get pulled out of, so that's kind of what I'm thinking, where I have days where I'm like I'm this, and I'm like, hold on. I'm so distracted, like nothing is in flow. Things feel a little fucked.
Mm-hmm.
How do I shift this? Maybe I need to
Yes.
sit in meditation. Maybe I just find myself spinning, or like, our culture right now is just so like frenetic.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And then it translates. Yeah. I've been having that thought. I'm like, I am not that way. And I've been like operating that way. And what I'm like, is it social media? Is it, which it could be, just seeing things in quick time, taking in so much information, you know, um, and not even all of it is pertaining to us and things, but we're human, so we're like connecting the dots and making it pertain to us, you know. Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's not to say things like social media or, engaging in the world is bad or wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but just noticing when we don't feel in flow or
Yes.
when we feel off it's just noticing
Mm-hmm.
without judgment, or being like, wow, I'm really trying to do this, but I do this all the time, especially when I'm not like fully focused and grounded. I'll pick up my phone to like look up a contact or look at something. And then suddenly I'm like down some rabbit hole 30 minutes.
You're like, how did I
What was happening? But
get
distractions are real, and they're there to keep us from being connected. Because when we're in our full alignment, when our frequency is really unfucked
here?
and
Right. What
really
does
in
that look like?
alignment, that
Yeah.
doesn't mean perfect, but there is a certain quality that makes us more at ease, in flow, at peace. And it doesn't mean we're not having fun. I know people are like, ooh, peace means boring. I'm like,
Like, not for me. But yeah, yeah. Also, but then also on the other side of the spectrum, like riding the waves can be fun too. So yeah, figuring out, okay, all right, that truck is so loud, it's drowning out my voice. I need to come inside. And that's this podcast has actually been you were asking me kind of the reason for the podcast. There's a bigger reason of, sharing these voices with the world and having a platform to share all of these incredible individuals that have graced my life. And also, it has been like such a challenge in so many ways and has tested my patience in so many ways and has also like asked me to really be present and really, but not perfect, not perfect, and just have fun with, yeah, riding the waves, being like, okay, that was crazy. That was kind of funny though.
yeah. Well, and that's part of the dance. It's not like I said, even being at peace or being in alignment doesn't mean we're not moving or not like, okay, I'm surfing this way. Like it's the frequency is different,
Mm-hmm.
right? It is more of that like, okay, yeah, I can surf these waves, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a little bumpy, right? Because when it's easy, it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
But when things are bumpy, that's when we can learn how to be more masterful
Right. Yeah.
at our own frequency, at the next level, at new tools. Because again, it's okay, and it's okay if
Mhm.
your frequency feels fucked.
Right. Yeah.
Because
There's
it's
so
just
much
there to show you
shame.
something. Yeah,
Yeah. So much shame around that. And especially in like the spiritual realms, or being practitioners and healers, you're like, oh gosh, like how am I going to hold that for somebody else if I'm, if I'm having a hard time right now? But really, I mean, it tends to make you more relatable if you learn through those, because then you have those pieces.
right. Well, and if you've been through it, then you can support others. Like,
Mm-hmm.
light workers, we have to walk through the darkness a
Mm-hmm.
lot,
Mm-hmm.
a lot. And it's not it's not a like, ooh, woe is me or poor me. It's just like, okay, we signed up for it. So what's this next challenge?
Yeah.
And what's this?
Why do you think that is? I think there's also this misconception of like, oh, you say you're a light worker, but then, you're walking through this darkness. And so there must be something like this is kind of gets intense, but there must be something demonic that attached or something like that, which could be sometimes, right? Like we were talking about spiritual attacks or psychic attacks the other day. But yeah, why? Like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it's how we judge the situation because we signed up for a certain experience
Mm-hmm.
in this life. And we didn't sign up for it to be all rainbows and puppy dogs and like the love and light, right? Like woo woo airy fairy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When we can experience that and really be present to the love, the light, the bliss, yes. I think the real trick is learning how to experience those and remember those even in the dark times.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, sometimes we do call things in or we like have an experience. And an example I can give is like alcohol is something that invites entities.
Mm.
That's why
They
they
call it
call
a
it
spirit.
spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And take that what you will, whatever. This is what I've been shown. This has been my experience because it changes your frequency.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you magnetic to a different vibration,
Mm-hmm.
and it changes the game. And so we can take things on and have these. In fact, I'll share personally. I had this experience I don't know, a few months ago. I don't drink as a rule. Um, I grew up in a really addictive alcoholic family, and so it's not ever been something I've had an issue with personally. I drank in college, like I did the 20s, early 20s thing, but eventually my body really rejected it. And then I just was like, one, it's expensive. I don't feel good. I'd rather eat my calories, right? Like whatever. And then deeper on my path, I was just like, alcohol doesn't serve me and it fucks with my frequency and I don't need it and I don't want it and I don't miss it.
Hmm.
Um, and every once in a blue moon, I might like taste somebody's drink. I'm like, oh, I used to really like ciders or just, the human part
Hmm.
is just curious, but
Yeah.
never more than just a sip. Um, I was hanging out with my beloved and childhood best friend a few months ago, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get some drinks," and I was like, "Oh yeah, you drink. That's fine. I don't need to." And then my beloved's like, "Oh, I'll have one." I was like, "What?" And it just never comes up because just not a part of our socializing.
Hmm.
And I had a drink, and it was terrible.
Uh,
In that, like,
in your body.
in my body, I mean, I could still. I was like, "Oh yeah, I totally did this to myself," but I could feel the shift in my frequency, and I had one drink. It's not
Hmm.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Overindulged, but I could
But
just
as a sensitive person, and then
feel,
also as somebody who, yeah, doesn't drink as a rule, then
yeah, and
yeah, you would feel it.
how I responded to the evening, what kinds of experiences came in from the evening, and I was like, okay. I mean, it was already a no, but I was like, this is a definite no for me. And we've all have our different journeys. That's not a judgment for anyone who's like
Hmm.
partaking, but like in general, from my experience, because again, it's just we sometimes we humans sometimes like to make things harder than they have to be. Because
Right.
if we just listen to the guidance that we're getting, not because someone told us to, um, we could have a more easeful time. But sometimes we just have to do the hard thing to learn
Yeah.
the lesson. And that's with a lot of love and be like, oh, look at me being human and totally like just okay, let's
Mm.
try it on. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
Did I learn the lesson? I sure did. And
Hmm.
for anyone who can relate to this, I think this is part of my special assignment where I came in with a very, it takes a certain level of sacred rebellion to be able to be in this world, but not of the world.
Mm.
In the sense of like, yeah, drinking is really acceptable in culture, but I don't need to partake in that.
Yeah.
Um, but when that inner rebel is out of alignment, we sometimes just rebel against ourselves
Hmm.
and our highest and all those things
Yeah.
because it's just part of the development. And maybe it's our wounded teenager who's just like, I'm not going to listen to you.
Yeah. You adult
No,
version of me.
yeah, your adult version of you. No, thank you. I want it. I want to try this on.
Yeah, I've always loved that way of stating it. Is like just gonna try it on, Yeah, yeah, see how it fits.
Yeah, and I think the cure, like the shift around that is like not to judge, but to also be discerning. Like we can be wise, and it's part of the journey. It's part of our own spiritual, emotional maturity. And just being really doing our best,
Hmm.
knowing sometimes we're just gonna fuck it up, and sometimes we're gonna stumble, and sometimes in dance we'll fall on the floor.
Right.
Sometimes
Yeah.
we need to be down there.
Uh-huh. Right. And then you can make a dance move out of it.
Right.
It's
Or just be like,
yeah.
hey, I wouldn't have seen this, or I wouldn't have tried this movement, or I wouldn't have noticed that like my left hip needed some
Right.
length. And I don't know, like there's
It's got a chiropractic adjustment from that dance fall.
right, like it's always working out for us, I guess is really
Mhm.
to come back down to like, and that's not to say like willy-nilly do whatever you want, like whatever, and maybe you do, but it's always working out for us, especially if we're continuing to come back to like what feels true for me,
Mhm.
even if that sounds crazy to everyone else.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What have you done recently that has, sounded crazy to everybody else? But you're like, I'm gonna do this and you've seen it work out. Like what's the most recent thing?
Yeah. It's even this whole move to California. I think
Mm-hmm.
I'm still figuring out what it is, but I think probably my biggest life example overall, and I've done this many times, is when I moved to Bend 8 years
Mm,
ago. No, that's not the most recent, but like for folks who mostly know who I am, I moved to Bend on a spiritual nudge.
mm,
Never been there. I didn't know anyone. I was married at the
mm,
time. We were moving back from SoCal back to Portland, where we'd lived for a long time. But Portland had changed, and we're like, this is not the place.
yeah.
So we moved to Bend. I don't think either of us actually had jobs at that point because we just moved. Like I volunteered to be laid off from my job at that point, and he had to quit his job to move because he worked at a grocery store and they wouldn't transfer or
Mhm.
something. I don't even remember, but I was like, we're gonna do this and we're gonna figure it out, and it just everything kept working. Like we kept getting all these synchronicities and all these signs and found the place and did these things, and I discovered ecstatic dance. I'd never even heard of it
Mhm.
before I
Oh,
moved.
wow.
I mean, I'd kind of dance on my own. It
Hmm.
wasn't something that I didn't, like I said, I'd never heard of it.
Wow.
Mm. And as someone
Yeah.
who had told a story for a long time, I'm shy, I like dance, but I've always had a story that I was too big. I've been in a larger body most of my
Mm.
life, and all the stories that came from that about being too fat and all these things,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
to showing up on an ecstatic dance floor where I didn't feel judged. There's 15 people. I took up space and I felt good. Even if I
Hmm.
was a little like, what I'm doing here, but and I can give probably so many examples of that where like even earlier today I had an event this morning, I had an hour and I was like, oh, I forgot to
Hmm.
make my shake. And I was like, I'm gonna go sit on the front porch and drink it, which I never would do. It's like 90 degrees outside. I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
like, okay, I'm gonna go sit on the porch. And I was like, oh, it's not too bad. And then I was like, oh, shit, I put the hose in one of the big potted plants on the front porch this morning and forgot all about it.
Oh,
So, well, that's not crazy.
yes.
That was just a nudge. I never in a
Yep. A nudge.
million years would I have normally gone to sit on a 90-degree front porch, but
Hmm.
other way reason I would have gone out there.
Hmm.
There.
Yep.
And it's just those little tiny nudges, the things like that. The more we follow those things, the more we can build our trust
Mm.
in ourselves, our intuition, so that when we get the big nudges to be like, all right, Puma, in our November, I was like, I guess I'm gonna quit my job again and move back to Southern California. Um, like there's been so much beauty here. There's a relationship, so many things that
Hmm.
I'm learning and being guided through and moving through. Do I know all the answers or why I'm here yet? No.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
but and
I see like a glitter on your face, like this, like, do I know why I'm here? I don't know.
it's
This
like
kind of excitement. Yeah.
yeah, because that's the frequency. We can be excited and be like, "Ooh, this is gonna get real good. I don't know what's about to happen."
Yeah.
Or we can tell a story of fear and be like, "Ooh, this is scary, and I just don't know."
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
even someone like me who's talked about this stuff and is well practiced at like being bold, being brave, doing, showing up to see what happens and be like, man, I don't know what's about to happen.
Hmm.
I've
No
had
matter
moments.
no matter how psychic we are, it's like
Wait,
we
no
still
matter.
can't see everything.
No, we have our blind spots. We have the places where we just can't
Hmm.
see things for our own stuff, our own stories, our own limits. Which is why we all need practitioners of some kind and guides
Hmm.
here and there.
Hmm.
I forgot what I was saying now. I don't know. I'm just on the adventure. Oh yeah, for someone even where I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Um, there have been moments in this movie that have been really hard,
Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
I was like, maybe I just give up.
Right. It's always an
Maybe I
option.
throw in the towel. Can I go back to being asleep? Can I go back to just um,
Mm.
being engaged in the world and eating the foods that I know my body doesn't like and that don't love me back? Can I go back to just watching a bunch of television? And
Yeah.
again, these aren't judgments, but I'm like, these are the
Right.
things that
Where
keep us
you, yeah,
disconnected.
your personal story. of
Yeah.
transformation. Yeah, I had this profound moment in a how old was I? I was in high school. And
Mm,
so I was younger, and I have been on this path for this like spiritual development path for a long time. But it's funny because like the last few years, I'm just like, and how about humaning? Like, I like that's a really important piece to all of this. Like that's so important. But I remember a good family friend of ours, she asked me, she was friends with my mom, but she would babysit us sometimes. So actually I think it was, may have been earlier than high school, but um, she asked me, do you ever wish that you didn't know what you know? And she
mm,
was talking spiritually. And I really like, I sat with it. I didn't want to just give like a off the cuff answer, but I mean, I answered pretty quickly, but I did let it like set in. And I was like, no, I wouldn't take any of it back. I choose to move forward from this place. And I think her asking me that, it like reconfirmed that for me for
yeah.
the rest of my life. I'm like literally getting chills right now. Like that was a big moment. I haven't thought about that for a while.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for sharing that. That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's good to question. Like, because if we're just like
hmm
la la la,
Yeah.
just continuing, like we will have moments of like, ooh, do I keep going?
hmm
Even to that, like, if I could not know, if I could unknow things, would I?
Right.
No. And there have been moments where I'm like, maybe
You're like, it seemed
that,
easier.
yeah. But is it really easy?
But yeah, I mean, I don't think it is. I think, yeah, personally. But yeah, I could totally understand if somebody felt that way.
Yeah.
It's
And
completely
it's
understandable.
normal and human to have doubt or to feel it and see it. But I think the trick is to recognize it.
hmm
Because I think there are stories and I think there are frequencies and energies out there that really want to keep us disconnected,
Oh yeah.
distracted.
And they'll come in
Yeah.
hot and hard. Like, oh man. Yeah. Yeah. I had a bout with that about a month ago. That was
Yeah.
intense. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us, I think I think the energy's been ramped up for folks too.
hmm
Um, because when old systems, when any system or any pattern or anything that has existed is about to potentially not exist,
hmm
or there's a shift, there is sometimes a fight. Just like
Mm-hmm.
we see old systems breaking down in the world that have been true or have been believed to be true for so long, and they're shifting, and that's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
any growth is uncomfortable. A seed busting out of its like little shell.
Totally.
I can't imagine that feels good.
Yeah, we look at it in a time lapse and we're like, oh my gosh, it's so miraculous and so beautiful. But really, if you put yourself in the place of that little, that little plant inside, and it's just like, ugh, and there's like the edges are probably kind of sharp, and yeah,
It's,
it is a
it can be
miracle.
straight up painful. Any
hmm
transformation or rebirth, like, can be really painful. But what is pain?
Right. What is pain?
It's just another uncomfortable feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And what if all we are ever running from when we don't show up, we don't speak the truth, we don't take the chance, we don't take the risk, all that we're ever running from is just an uncomfortable feeling.
Mm-hmm. Versus facing it. Yeah. Yeah.
I personally just find that really empowering. I'm like, just an uncomfortable feeling. I've done
Yeah.
plenty of those.
Right. It's just another one. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
And at various levels and degrees and all the things. And like, gosh, being human is really beautiful
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, yeah, we do want to just be in our humanity. It's really, I think, for my experience and my journey and like where I'm helping lead people is how to embody your divinity while also embracing your humanity, because it's not about perfection. It's not about
Yes.
I think the old story of light and enlightenment, which is what does that mean? To be filled with more light.
Yeah.
Like you have to leave this human body, and this body is just a meat suit, and blah blah blah.
But
And
it's
I'm like,
just so the opposite. It's like the more we embody every cell of our being, like the more space there is for light. Because it's like if we disembody, we actually start decomposing and turn into darkness because we turn into soil. And it's just, yeah, it's just funny how that really took hold. And I think that was probably like a phase in our growth as as a human race on this planet. And now we're really seeing, okay, like what is this to really know and understand that humanity and divinity are not separate.
right. And we can both be human and divine. I think the term for it is anthropos.
I love
That
that
they're
term.
not
Yeah.
like mutually exclusive. And that's healing that like duality that this earth plane really is like trying to play out, this whole dualistic black, white, masculine, feminine, how we'll throw it all in there. Is like, how do we actually weave that together, not to diminish or dilute either part of the supposed like whole, but how
hmm
to weave it together so they're both like, like a beautifully woven blanket. You still can see the individual threads and the different pieces, but they're
hmm
stronger together.
hmm
Even much back to your
hmm
what your intention is for this podcast about the weaving.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It's
Like
also,
hmm
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm not you and you're not me, and but we are, and we have no idea what we're gonna create or what what the next step will be, but we are co-creating this together, and that is a weaving of poetry. hmm
Absolutely. Well, and that union of all parts and not just
hmm
one or the other, because that is
hmm
the embodiment of our human and source self, our masculine, our feminine. We have both parts, um,
hmm
and all aspects. And it's, again, that's another way to set ourselves free. Where we're like, as a woman, I don't need another, like, my beloved is a man, and like, I get to take care of my masculine self. I
hmm
rely on him always for that, or any other masculine counterpart. I am my own best healer,
hmm
and I also still have practitioners because that is the why. Like, I'm like, that's the wise thing to do. I have all those parts, and also I don't have to do it alone because we came to be connected.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I feel like I went a
Um,
little off track.
No, I loved that. No, I was like, I don't really have anything to add to that because, well, I mean, I could, but yeah, that was just like a beautiful rounded edge there on that. Yeah, I wanted to, so I'm going to kind of like jump topics a little bit. So I
Mm.
wanted to talk about Mary Magdalene a bit and the part that she has played in your life. How has she woven into your life? Actually, this just weaves right into the next thing.
Wow, yeah, thank you for that. I know it's it's something that, I mean, growing up, I went to Baptist Christian school, and so I had a really different context for who I thought Mary Magdalene was growing up, like the typical mainstream story, right?
Yeah, where she
Really
was a
hard to see, but
prostitute.
yeah, I've
hmm
got her back here. Or that she was even some sexual priestess. I know it's really hard. Um, but the more I've tuned in, and so I have a spirit team. We all have a spirit team. We all have our non-physical supports. Gods, goddesses, angels, ancestors, however you might want to define them. And so, Mary Magdalene, really, I work with her as a goddess.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how she's been coming to me, and even in mentorship, where as the feminine Christ,
Yeah, yeah.
and that Yeshua, the one known as Jesus, was her. They were beloveds and counterparts, and like they were greater together than
hmm
on their own, and their story. But for her in particular, is a path of compassion and sass. Like, it's not just like this, like wearing white robes, and I was like, that's the human aspect. And
Right.
so she's been part of my like spiritual team and guidance. She comes, there's signs and signals. I bring her into my sessions. I do one-on-one with folks, and she's often there. I can't say I bring her in. She's often just present.
Mm.
And so that, and it's really, I guess for me, I'm like, I'm not an expert.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly there's a lot of stories, a lot of things, and we all have to decide what our truth is and where that feels right for us.
Mm-hmm.
But coming back to the sense of the feminine Christ, the Christed consciousness, and historically, and I'm using that word very intentionally, historically it's been a bunch of dudes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like Christed
Yeah.
consciousness has been in these like ascended masculine masters,
Mm-hmm.
um, where Mary was more than that. And there's a church. I've learned this through a dear sister, my mentor, um, in Paris called the Madeleine, where they're like, oh yeah, she's a saint. She's been sainted. They're like, we got it wrong, guys. There's a plaque that tells her story that's like, she wasn't actually a prostitute. That was a different Mary. We kind of just fucked it up. Sorry. Like, kind of make up for it. Here's this plaque, and we, sainted her. She has a feast day, and July 22nd is her feast day.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the way she comes into my life and into my work and practice is representative of the feminine Christ and the divine feminine in that way, because we've really, we've really done a disservice to our divine feminine in our culture. And so it is
Mm-hmm.
a part of weaving it back in. And that's not a like, it's not a whiplash to patriarchy. Now it's matriarchy. I'm like,
Right.
again, coming back to like, it's time for the weaving.
The harmony. Yeah. What would, from your perception, what would a world that was woven in that way, led by this sort of Mary Magdalene and Yeshua combination, what would that world look like, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. It would look a lot different. There would be, again, it's more of a dance. I just keep get this image of like nothing is static, and even the weaving, it's not a like counterbalance, so there's no movement,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's not always going to be a perfect balance, but it's just that sacred union of
Yeah.
like, yeah, of course we need our masculine aspects and like structure. Without structure, we can't have flow.
Exactly. I say that all the time.
Yeah, and I have to remind myself as
Yeah.
someone who's like, I don't want structure. Like my inner rebel really is not
Yeah.
like I want to do whatever I want, whenever I want. Like, yeah, cool. How's that working for you? Um, but we need structures. We need the bones, right? Like we need
Hmm.
those things, and so that, and it's not one is any better than the other. It's just sometimes you really need the structure, and sometimes we really need the flow. Sometimes we really need someone who will help us hold our own feet to the fire,
Hmm.
and that kind of tough love with a lot of care. But sometimes we really need that mothering, like nurturing. Like we need the provider protector, we need all of that. And so I think the world would be, there would be more harmony. It doesn't mean there wouldn't be problems, it doesn't mean there wouldn't be challenges, it doesn't mean there wouldn't be some chaos, because hello, humans.
Humans.
um,
Yeah.
but there would be more, it would be more of a dance, in the sense of like, hey, we're more embodied, we're more okay. It's not it it's healing that wound that runs so deeply between a masculine and feminine, and that like, oh, I have to diminish myself to honor this thing. And it's like, no.
Mm-mm.
And I've had a
Mm-mm.
conversation. I work with a lot of men, and I have over the years, who are like, man, the world doesn't want to hear from the white guy. I'm like, well, yeah, kind of. But any movement, any movement that asks you to diminish yourself, if suddenly we're like, canceling men just because they're men,
Mm-hmm.
that actually doesn't honor anybody either,
No.
and
No.
isn't actually working towards union,
Yeah.
and not union. And I sometimes, right, when we're talking about Mary Magdalene and Yeshua and this like holy, and I'm like, it's not a holier than thou. They were also human at some point, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, and I think that's part of the kind of rediscovered, texts and things about Yeshua and Mary Magdalene is like Yeshua wouldn't have been able to represent, what he was representing if there wasn't this humanity aspect to it, and to show that there is no separation between humanity and divinity in like the grand scheme or in like the deeper part of things. And yet we've come so far away from that even then.
Well, I mean, so much has been hijacked, and this happens where somebody has
Mm-hmm.
a story and then it's taken for another purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Right.
and so
Mm-hmm.
again, that's part of like we're all here to find our way and our journey. We wouldn't have incarnated on this earth plane planet if we didn't have something to do or work or learn. And because if we were all in alignment and figured it all out, and like we wouldn't have incarnated into these bodies.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be here. We'd be
Yeah.
floating around on a blitz cloud somewhere else.
Yeah. I'm like, not in this iteration of Earth, anyways.
Right, right. I'm like, and I mean, there's a lot on all these topics, and we could talk for days, I'm sure, but really it's just how do we fulfill our mission?
Mm,
How do we live our mission
mhm,
while we're here so that we can move on to the next thing?
mm. And what is your mission right now, do you feel?
I get asked that question a lot, and I'm like, has it really changed? Not really. I mean, at the core, it's really to awaken hearts and get people connected back to that heart space
Yeah.
through all of this. And even back to what I was saying about freedom is like when we're really connected to our sacred heart, we're connected to our higher self, we're embodied. And so my mission is to keep my light on
Yeah,
as much as
totally.
possible, to inspire others and live as much as a demonstration while having a good time
Mhm.
and helping and being in service along the way.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah. Well, I see you in all of those things, every single statement. I really feel, yeah, yeah, I've witnessed you in all of that for sure. Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here today and being on the Golden Exposure podcast and being with me through all the chaos of like it's so funny. And I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
Thanks for having me and yeah, letting me be here. And for, sometimes, I mean, it's such a demonstration of like, well, what do we need to shift?
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, and you totally coached me through that. You're like, "Do we want to pause this and maybe move inside?" And I'm like, "Oh, but the tree and the rainbows." I'm like, "I don't care that there's a truck back here drowning out my voice. It's pretty."
You're so funny. Sometimes you're like, I'm just gonna sit here with this loud ass truck. Like, you don't have to.
Oh, that was incredibly insightful. Like you coached me without even by just you being you and you being like, okay, we can problem solve this.
And then if you'd insisted,
Yeah,
I'd be like, cool, we'll just roll with it, of course, right? Like,
totally. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. Yeah. Well, so how can people find you? I'm not sure when this video is going to come out, or this podcast episode is going to come out. But you can still state
Yeah.
the things you're doing and the dates that you're doing them.
Oh, yeah, thank you. The easiest way to get in touch with me is on Instagram,
Mhm.
at embodied_magic. You can also get me at Puma by email, Puma@embodiedmagic.org or Tiffani@embodiedmagic.org, however you know me. You can join my email list. That's where I send a lot of love. And I don't know if you'll include links, Jade, but certainly I can
Mhm.
include all
Yes.
that. But it's easy to find. Some of the things I'm working on and I'm really excited about right now is I've created a 3-month portal experience for what I'm calling, with a lot of love, the Goddess Get Down Apprenticeship. So I started a women's dance called the Goddess Get Down, uh,
Mm-hmm.
which is like that whole like we're gonna do some really deep work and have a good time. It's like
Mm-hmm.
that sacred sass that I really love. Um,
The sacred sass. I love that.
and then was guided to open it up to teach people and to mentor people who really want to you just take their practice deeper, just like with yoga teacher training. Not everyone who does that becomes a yoga teacher. Sometimes just to deepen your own embodiment practice.
Right.
And it's a 3 month experience where we'll focus the first month on how to curate music for a journey, whether you're doing yoga or dance or something or whatever, but how to create a musical experience.
Mm-hmm.
Frequency. It's all frequency, music, frequency. How do we create frequency experience so people can help tune in? Really in depth about that. And then the second month, we'll talk about the container, how to create a container,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's online, in person, the energetics, the logistics. Um, I've done it all. I've done events for over 25 years, so I know. Definitely they haven't all been fantastic. Um, and the last month, we're really diving into facilitation and embodied leadership and how to show up and how to, like, again, the energetics, the frequency, and the logistics, and how to be confident in your facilitation. Again, whether you're doing dance things or events or you're a healer or a practitioner, this can take you to a whole new level. Even for
Mm-hmm.
massage therapists, like having a music journey in the background. Um, if you're interested, reach out. Let me figure it out with you. Because really, I believe this to be true. It's not just like dancing for a good time. If we were all dancing and embodied and like moving and loving these like bodies, the world would change.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
frequency would shift. Um, if we could really be connected to our own selves, it would be we would have such an easier, more easeful time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and outside of that, I'm
Great.
only, I still have one-on-one sessions and I have online dances, I have group dances. So get in touch to stay in the know, and I'm always happy to schedule a connection call with someone.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah. And your one-on-one sessions are amazing. Our session the other day was really beautiful. Yeah, and brought a lot to light for sure. Yeah.
Appreciate that. Yeah, well, it's such an honor to hold that space with you. And
Mhm.
again, thank you for inviting me here.
Yes, yeah, it's how beautiful. I love it. Gorgeous. Thanks, Puma.
Jade.
Mwah.